Welcome back. I am Jesper. We are now for another book review, which is from the book Stolen Focus: Why You Cannot Pay Attention by Johann. Fuck, I forgot his last name. Yeah, we put it. It's in the title, most likely, or something like that. But the book, it goes into why we cannot pay attention today, why it seems that our focus are being stolen and has gone away. And this guy, he's a journalist, so he's actually diving into how can we regain our focus. And he goes into this 3 months of just going off the grid to see if that will help. And once he actually found out that he actually started, even though he actually went off grid, he didn't have that much focus as he actually thought at it, because his mind actually also started wandering. But in this process, he's also speaking to a lot of researchers, and he find out that an important part, for example, also from reading, is also the mind wandering. As you're reading, when your mind wander, then you connect what you're reading to what you already know. So you're connecting new patterns in your brain, and they also how like creativity comes from. There's nothing new in the brain. It's just a new connection that happens in your brain with things you already know, and that's a huge part of it. That was also this part of being able to pay attention. But actually, what he finds out through this is that that it's not that we cannot pay attention, and also because today our environment is actually designed to steal our attention. So our phones with notification sounds, they are designed to having our attention on our phone constantly, having our attention in social media constantly. And all these things, like people having Apple Watches, people have all these smartwatches, pinging up with messages. So it's like your focus and attention is constantly like stolen, and you have to pay attention to other things. And actually there are some studies that show that our attention span is like less than 7 seconds or something like that, like real crazy. But what I find it actually interesting, what he actually discovered in the book, is that it's not that we cannot pay attention, it's because we actually, if you seem to not be able to pay attention, it's because you're actually paying attention to everything at once. But you cannot pay attention to everything at once. So actually what your brain is doing is that it's split out like the attention. So let's say you have like 100 attention units. Then they split out 1 unit to each thing that is like in your whole environment. And when your attention does that, that actually means you are in a more like a stress survival attention mode. Because when you're in survival mode, we are looking for threats all around us in the whole environment. So we are not paying attention to one thing, because that will put us at risk for any threats that we won't spot them. So we have to pay attention to the entire environment around us to look for threats. Then we have then he also comes into that we also have this stadium type attention, which is where we have attention to one thing, but in this one thing, in order to do it, there's like there may be 5 pieces we have to pay attention to. So let's say it's going to the gym. So our attention is to, okay, now we have to go to the gym. But in this process, we also have to pay attention to, okay, we got our keys, we got our shoes, we maybe got our bag, and we have everything like our shoes on, our training bag. So it's like we have 4 things we have to pay attention to that we actually bring with us. Then we have what is called like the spotlight, focus, spotlight, attention. And this is where we are more like, we zoned in one thing that we just zoned in on. And what actually funny about this, that oftentimes, especially also when we are mind wandering, it's actually not looking like we are doing anything, but we're actually doing a lot when our mind is wandering. And having this disconnect can actually help create new thoughts. But what it actually does, especially if we get interrupted, which can be from phone or a smartwatch or something like that, is that it takes us at least 20 minutes to get back into the same level of focus. So having all these like interruptions, that means that we always can quickly answer messages and so on, is actually unproductive. It actually interrupting our focus, and it's harder to get things done. And what we can do to regain some of our attention and try to control it a bit more is that it's not to go on a full digital detox where you cannot do anything. That might be good maybe for some period, maybe one time, but we cannot constantly do it. Maybe in the beginning here, if you feel like you have a maybe severe problem for it, maybe just say, okay, delete all your social media from your phone, block it from your computer, completely just quit them so you cannot look at them. But another thing is also just remove notifications, remove sounds, because you can set up your phone so you also, for example, have screen time, so you block it off and make it more annoying to open apps so you cannot sit there and scroll. You can remove sound, all these notifications, and one thing you can do, like, there's not that many calls in your phone that's that important. There's your family, maybe your husband, your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, and those you can set to, even though you have like this screen time and night time on, that will make sure you are not being disturbed. You can set it up so if they call, they call right through, or everything, the messages and everything, they just go right through that protection. So if something happens, they will always be able to reach you in that case. So that thing you cannot be worried about is actually quite set up. Just spend like maybe 20 minutes max, then you can easily set it up. It didn't take that long for me to do, but I have it like that. And for me, I actually spend a lot of time also reading books and this, and I really feel the difference when I occupy my mind constantly versus especially in the morning when I work out. There I'm not listening to, usually people will listen to music or something like that, but I don't put any music, and then I just the first hour or two when I wake up, try to don't look at my phone, no music, nothing, just my thoughts. And then what actually started happening is I'm actually coming up with good ideas. I start understanding also some more like some very like intellectual things and conceptual things in my work, and how it can work and how things can develop, and I can piece things together in these moments. So it actually really helped, and it's actually also one thing I found out is that when I really push myself and have a lot of things going on that all require my attention, I'm not working optimal. I'm working optimal actually when I have maybe 2-3 things to focus on max in my life, and I can just give it my all. But I also still have time to to have no like noise, sound, or anything influence me. I can just walk around in my own world. And also a huge thing is like, as now we have like social media that can quickly post the news and so on. Like, just the fact, try to consume news from an old school newspaper, because usually the newspaper, they will need to find the information, they will put it to print, so there's a huge delay in the information you get, but also the whole information you get, like you get the entire information and not like constantly small pieces and updates. And that's usually when something big happens, it's like every 10 minutes you going, what's the update? New update. So it's like, it's just okay, it's like far away from me. Just let me wait and see, let me read the newspaper. So there's few things we can do to reconfigure it, but it's actually quite a good book and actually quite fascinating. Especially also when it comes to talk about with kids with ADHD, that actually today we just diagnosed kids, but there were actually, he mentioned a woman who actually looked into, so what is actually going on with all these kids, and you find out that actually some of them, they're actually stressed because their parents are stressed with something. The environment the kids are in is stressed and in like survival mode. So the kids are not feeling safe. They feel a bit threatened, and they can be the parents arguing a lot, maybe some physical abuse. It can be financial, that everything is not going good. Any type of stress in the household. He found out that actually could have a reason why a kid will, of course, not feel safe, but that actually make them stress and actually not able to pay attention when it also comes to school, where you need this more like spotlight, stadium focus. But these kids have they're constantly in like this survival mode and pay attention to everything, so they cannot pay attention to only the teacher. And that was actually quite interesting. And what's more quite interesting for it is that is the ones who neglected that idea was, funny enough, all the American doctors. Probably also those who take the most money from pharmaceuticals. So that says a lot. But that's very fascinating. And really does, and actually all this go to the concept of what is your environment. And they're actually quite interesting, because I was at this event where there was some people from the London governor, because the mayor of London, he started this super school zones where they optimize the whole environment about schools to be more active and more healthy oriented, so you could not advertise like candy and like unhealthy stuff, and they try to make it more for like for bikes and healthy activities within a radius of 400 meters of the school. And it actually the same model they use is actually quite interesting, because you can use it also in your own life, like you have your phone, computer, or all this, what is in your environment, and then try to control it as much as possible, because we can do a lot. Delete some apps, because like we don't have to look at Instagram every day, every time. And if you just sometimes when I'm on the train, like everyone looks at the phone, and you can just stand there and observe people, and some you can see they try to put their phone away, and then they look back at the phone, and you can just obviously see there was no one texting you. You get no notification, but it's just this you have to constantly do. So yeah, I think it's really like what you can take away. Like, definitely read the book, and what you can take away is control your environment. Figure out what can you control in your environment. You can control, set a screen time that gives you some level of control. you can set do not disturb time, which also gives you some level of control. Remove notification gives you some level of control. So all these settings that's in our different electronics give your mind an hour or two, if you can, a day, to just wander and not get any inputs. And I think you can do a lot for yourself. But yeah, that was it for today. I'm Jesper, and I'm out. Peace.